welcome traders to our start of week technical analysis video. So as you know, this blue vertical line represents the last point in which we left off in our last technical analysis, and that being our end of week. I'm going to go ahead and go to our minute 15, going to get straight onto things here. So if you remember from our last technical analysis video, we sort of went over all the probable moves that we could expect to see. And one of them is definitely invalidated, or it wasn't right. Not that it wasn't right, it didn't go the way, one of the ways that we expected. So we're going to go ahead and delete this black one. So as you know, we first established that we found a support at 2790 and a resistance at 2797. This was our range when we first touched the new all-time high, just here when we touched 2800, and we sort of consolidated between these two levels, giving us a rough range. We then went on to give two probable moves. Obviously, the consolidation move didn't take place, so we're going to just remove that and go over the two that have sort of taken place. So we marked in a bullish probable move and a bearish probable move. As you can see, if I go ahead and just sort of focus on this bullish one. So as you can see, we anticipated that we would see a break and retest pattern of price through this level. As you can see, price didn't actually retest on the previous resistance of this range that we just spoke about. In fact, price just continued on bullish. Price continued on bullish and made a new all-time high at the level of 2817. So that's what happened at first, and then we also predicted the price, or I say predicted, that's incorrect. I also gave a probability of a bearish move, expecting that price would touch this resistance of this range and then continue on to drop, giving us a break and retest pattern. However, as you can see, none of these probable moves that we marked in with the paths have happened perfectly according to how they would with the paths that we set in, which is very unlikely anyway. Obviously, if we wanted to mark it out properly and take a strategic sort of trading approach to it, we would have maybe marked it up a little bit different. This was just sort of like a rough idea. So as you can see, we are going to go ahead and sort of delete these areas now. This eclipse, the two eclipses that marked in our resistance and support, the path as well, and just clean our chart up a little bit, as we're going to have to mark in a couple more point of interest. So if I go ahead and grab our path, as you can see, price continued to test this support, and then price continued on bullish. We saw price break past the previous all-time high. Price sort of staggered around this area, and then continued on to touch that new all-time high of around 2817. Price then broke back down, came up to test the same area, and then broke back down, forming a support on previous resistance of this consolidation range. Price then tested at this area. As you can see, this is definitely going to be a point of interest for us. We can see that a median support and median resistance was found at this area, and then price broke through into our range of this consolidation block that we found and found support. Price then sort of pushed up close to our resistance, and price fell all the way down to around 2772. Since then, price has been bullish, testing at the top side of this range that we marked in on our point of interest at 2797. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just hide the candlesticks real quick, if it's going to let me select it. Bear with me. Okay, it's not going to let me select it. That's annoying. However, we can just look at it from here. So as you can see, there you go, it just came up. So there you go. As you can see, we have surfaced and we've come to a new all-time high at 2817 with price. Then the overall sort of range that has happened, we found price come to a new all-time high, and then price dropped back down, and price is currently testing at this top side of the range that we found. With all that being said, if we go to our daily real quick. Go to our daily. As you can see, obviously market did open at 10 p.m. GMT on the Sunday. That's the market time for us in the UK. As you can see, the start of the day, sort of late Sunday and Monday, has been bearish, and since then price has been pushing up, as we just saw here. So this would have been sort of like the start of the Sunday. This would have been Monday, and then as you can see now, coming into the London session, we're seeing some more volume on the bullish side. So back to our daily, looking at current price action, most probable thing that we're going to see here is a continuation with price continuing on. That is probably what's going to happen. As you can see, the bears have tried to push the candlestick down, creating a bearish switch, but price has just sort of continued to push up, and this candlestick will most likely turn bullish, probably reaching somewhere near the 825 range. If we go to our weekly real quick, it's the same thing. As you can see, the start of the week has been bearish. the same sort of volume as we saw last week in this candlestick, and price has pushed up. So it's going to be a high volatility or a high volume week, as you know as well. I believe it's this Friday. I think it is. Yes, it is Friday this week. We have NFP. It might actually show us down here. So yes, we have non-farm payrolls, as you can see here, and that drops at 1:30 p.m. GMT, just before the New York session on the 7th of February. As you know, the NFP stands for non-farm payroll. That takes place at the start of each month on the first Friday. So with all that being said, at the start of the week, as you can see, there is a lot of volatility and volume within the market on the bull side. Bears, like I said, bears did try to push price down, creating a bearish trend. However, they didn't have any chance really. Bulls have since pushed the price up. If we see price continue, and if the NFP is positive for gold, price will most likely continue. And in the next week or so, we could see new all-time highs hit, pretty constant. And what we're going to go ahead and do is go to our 4 hour now and just reset our price scale just to see what's going on. So as you can see, been bullish. We've been bullish for a while now, but as you can see, the real sort of start of this bullish trend was here on the 18th of December last year at 2585. Since then, we have continued on bullish, creating higher highs and creating higher lows. There probably is a point which I can mark in with a trend line. As you know, when we take our trend lines, we mark in point A to point B. So we find our point A and then our point B. We want to grab as many wicks as we can and then sort of drag it into the future. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to drag it into the future, grabbing as many wicks as we can and not crossing any trend lines. If I go ahead and try and grab this one as well, boom. And then we're going to make sure that we're not crossing any signal, any candles on that point B. So this is going to be sort of like a bottom side trend line, where we could expect, if we do see a bearish flip, where we could expect price to continue or to come to a halt if we do see a big bearish flip. So that's going to be that. And we're also going to find another point A and point B. Point A, B, and we're going to have, this is our point A, point B, and then dragging it into the future. We're also going to take it from here, point A, point B. So we're going to do the exact same thing as we've done here and drag it into the future, the same thing. So bear with me. Going to try and grab as many wicks as we can here. Sorry, I'm just sort of coming close to my chart. I'd rather do that than zoom in and then have to zoom back out. Boom. Okay, so there's sort of the two trend lines that we got. We could do a topside trend line as well. However, we just don't want to mess up our chart too much. So these are sort of the foundations where we could expect gold to go if price does retrace. For example, if price retraces from this point and we continue to test this level as a resistance at the 2797 level, price could flip bearish, but we're most likely going to be looking at our trend line that we just marked in to hold price up. Going on to our hour, if we go ahead and have a look, we can mark in another trend line on a lower time frame, finding our point A and point B, point A being here, point B being here, and then we will drag it into the future and just see if it gives us any information or anything new. So if I go ahead and try and grab both of those candlesticks, but I want to make it as tight to the candlestick as I possibly can, and then continue and price on, holding it into the future. So there you go. If I go up that high, you can see that it crosses into that candlestick, which is not what we want for a trend line. We want it to be grabbing as many wicks as possible. I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit here. So yeah, as you can see, we are going through that that mark there. So what we're going to do is grab those two, and then we're going to go ahead and just sort of pinch price real quick, and then grab the end of this trend line and just sort of make it as neat and as clean as possible, so we can have it go to about there, which is grabbing all these wicks here on point B, grabbing the wick there, grabbing the wicks there. So as you can see, we're gonna mark this one up in purple actually, just so we know that it's a lower time frame trend line. Matter of fact, what we're going to do, just to clean up our chart a little bit, we're going to grab this trend line here and we're going to delete that. So we have our higher time frame trend line marked in, and we have our lower time frame trend line marked in. As you can see, price did come down. Obviously, we just marked this in now, but if we had marked this off our point A and point B and dragged it into the future, as you can see, price did sort of test somewhat near to this area and then continue on bullish. Going back to our minute 15, just to finish things up, what is the most probable thing that we'll see short term? The most probable move that we'll probably see short term is a test of this resistance here, and then forming this range again before price then decides to either break up through and create a new high or test at previous all-time highs, or we could see price just continue on bearish from this point onwards, going somewhere near to our trend line, and then maybe testing back up something like this and continuing on back into the low 27, or I say the high, low, but it's the high 2700. So they're possible scenarios that we could possibly see. I'm not going to leave them in this time. As you know, we can just go back to our previous analysis. Another thing we could see here is price sort of tested this resistance of this previous consolidation block, and price just sort of continue up to test this previous level, which we're about to mark in, and then continue on bullish. But the most likely, most probable scenario for gold this week is going to be a continuation of bullish momentum. Due to obviously looking at higher time frames, price action, candlestick movement, candlestick structure, news, a bunch of other things sort of mixed into one. The most likely thing for gold this week will be new all-time highs and bullish continuations. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and mark in a box, giving us a new point of interest. As you can see, we're grabbing as many wicks as we can, and we have a point in which the market sort of crosses. So what we're actually looking for here, like to mark in our point of interest, I'm not going to go into too much detail, as we are currently creating a course to go into this properly. As you can see, like if I mark this here real quick, you can see that, okay, cool, we've tested at this area as a support, and then we've tested at this area as a resistance, giving us a clear indication that this level is a point of interest. As you can see, like they're sort of touching, so we drag it out, catch as many wicks as we can from the support and the resistance tests, and then continue on to the future. So it'll be another point of interest that we can look out for in the future now, which is going to give us some key information. As you know, we are trading in no man's land. No man's land, the reason why I call it that is because we've never traded gold here. No one ever has. It's obviously at new all-time highs. Obviously where we are right now, we already have information, we already have our point of interest marked in. However, in this section here, prices only just touched that late on the Friday after New York session momentum. But yeah, I believe that's going to be it for our start of week technical analysis. As you know, the distance in between our start of week and our end of week and start of week technical analysis isn't by much. I don't even think we don't even have 24 hours of market open or market trading hours as of the time since our last end of week and this start of week. So, but yeah, that's going to be our start of week technical analysis. I understand we had an amazing week last week. Grabbed almost 900 pips profit, 2 stop losses with an accuracy rating of just over 85%, which is amazing. Don't forget to withdraw some profits for yourselves. Treat yourselves to something, especially if you've got someone in your life, maybe a girlfriend, maybe just a friend, or maybe a wife, whatever it may be, whatever your situation is. Valentine's is coming up, so maybe withdraw some money, buy them something nice, treat them to a nice dinner, whatever you're feeling. Or matter of fact, just buy yourself something. But yeah, just make sure you're capitalizing on those profits that you make. And yeah, that's going to be me, Gold Signals. This is our start of week technical analysis. I hope you have all enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.